Oh, so many tweets.
Don't you know, I'm still standing better than I ever did, looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. Hello there, I'm Phil. Welcome to the Fantasy Threesome FPL podcast. I'm finally above these two. Mike, how are you?
Well, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I guess this is what happens now when you're leading. You start with a song. Fine, blag it. That's okay. It's all yours.
Good. I'm glad you're happy with that.
Yeah.
Anthony, how are you?
Yes, mate. Good. One good week for you, and look how chirpy you are. You've turned it. You've turned into Michael.
Literally one good week. Like I've had terrible weeks all season. So yeah.
Well, fair play to you, mate. Well done.
Yeah. How'd you get on, Ant?
Swimmingly, boys. What can I say? I mean, if you think your season's going bad, Phil, mine continues to get worse. 47 points, boys. 47, which is a full 10 below average. So the trajectory is somehow going down, which is great. I'll very quickly run you through my team. There's not a lot to report here, boys, apart from mediocrity. To be perfectly honest with you, TAA with 15 points was my highest point scorer. I had Salah, which Dave FPL, I think Paxo was it on Twitter, who picked my captain this week. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Very kind. He picked Salah, who got me 16 points.
It's good because you could have been stuffed.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
Does that work? Paxo,
yeah,
I
think so. Yeah,
You could have took a stuffing. You could have took a stuffing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I am every week, unfortunately, boys. Antonio and Vardy, who I continue to carry, but not anymore, and we'll come on to that later. 2 points apiece. Mopé coming on for 1. Havertz 3, Foden 1, Smith Rowe 2, Pinnock 1, Livramento 1, and Guaita. So glad I brought him in to concede 3 goals away at Burnley. 3 points.
Oh, there's a real surly, sarcastic tone to you that we've become familiar with in the last few weeks, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just repeat. You could just do the same thing every week at the moment. Just come to me and it's miserable and sarcasm and not very many points, boys. But I'm changing tack this week. I'm changing tact. No more Mr. Tightness on the transfers. So it may not work, but I can't continue to not make transfers and moan about how bad my team is. I need to do something about it. So whether it works or not is doubtful because I've just checked my team for this coming week and I've now got 2 doubtfuls, which is amazing.
So you've made your changes early, have you?
I've gone Michael Botta this week, boys.
Yep,
I've
you're
gone
welcome.
early on the transfers. I never normally make them before a Friday, but no, I thought I'd do them on a Tuesday. Look how that's worked out.
Have you bought in Chilwell?
Have I bought in Chilwell? I'm stupid, but luckily I didn't do that.
Who are your 2 doubtfuls?
Havertz and Foden.
Okay. Yeah, I mean Foden was doubtful going into last week.
Yeah, the classics of the Champions League, I presume. I think because that's where Havertz has got his from. But
okay.
Yeah, so Phil, we know, has got a good score this week, so he's chirpy, so we can go to him last. So Mike, how did you do?
Yeah, I did okay. I mean, the bedrock of my team, as it has been in recent weeks, was my defence, and I think Phil will probably say similar when we come to him. 12 for James, 15 for Trent, 12 for Cancelo, who just continues to offer returns. Midfield was mediocre, really. Jota and Salah both got me the 8. Gallagher got me 5. Bowen got me 2. My captaincy pick was where it went wrong, unfortunately. We went Kane as chosen by our listener, but he only got the 2, doubled up to 4, and then Hwang and Wilson got me 2 and 1 respectively. So it was all about the defence. I pitched in with 70 points. I did make 6 transfers to get there, so a net of 50.
Ridiculous.
Still beats me.
Took a -20 and beat you.
I did I not? And I was so great. I said, Phil, because you were umming and ahhing about making transfers. I said, look, Mike's proved that you can take hits and it can work. I mean, when you can take -20 and still beat me, I think that says it all.
To be fair, the changing point in my season was taking a -12, which isn't quite -20, but -12 to completely reshape my team a few weeks back, and that's really helped. I mean, I'm not doing amazing, but I did jump 700,000 places this week, which is what happens when you have a terrible start. One good week and you jump a large number of places.
I'd love one of those.
That's good. Yeah. Oh, and I did start compiling a audio recording of all your misery at the start of these podcasts.
It's true. I went round to Phil's house last night and he was mid edit.
I can't wait to hear this.
Well, there simply isn't enough time. Because even on game week 1, where you got like 60 odd points, it was still well below the average. And even game week 1, you mentioned crying into some fudge. and it's just like, oh, there's a bad start.
I'm sorry, I am a glass half empty, not half full, I'm afraid, boys. Maybe that could be
Oh,
my New Year's resolution.
yeah, that's a lovely idea.
Be
Lovely idea.
slightly less negative. Anyway, Phil,
Yeah.
let's hear all about your champion week.
Yeah, I finally had a good week, and what I've noticed is that during the Saturday morning kickoffs all season, apart from the first week when Fernandes got points, I've had nothing. But I had 3 Chelsea defenders, Chilwell, Rudiger, and James, who between them got me 35 points. So I straight away had 35 points, and then the points just kept coming. So I had Trent, Jota, Salah, Tony even scored a goal just for fun, and then the real icing on the cake. It just shows how lucky it is, really. Is that I brought in Foster as a second keeper, and in the last he's conceded, so I'm resigned to getting 2 points, and then in like the last minute he gets an assist. It's just a goalie getting an assist like that. Yeah, but so yeah, I took a -4 because I had to get Foster in, and I also wanted Callum Wilson, and so I ended up on 85 after that -4. So that was a big jump for me. And that in our league against us 3. That puts for the first time in the season, I go ahead of you both. So it's still very close, though. It's still really close. There's only 30 points between all 3 of us. So yeah, exciting times.
Is that
Very
right?
very much all to play for. But we do know that Ant tends to derail towards the end of a season. So that normally he's way out in front at this point.
Yeah,
this is true. I'm hoping I've gone the opposite way this season, boys.
You can hope, mate.
Because you normally come good about March time, Phil. I think you were about 100 points behind me, weren't you, last season, with only about 8 game weeks to go.
And the season
you
before
pulled it
that.
back. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the reminder. that makes me feel so much better.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, I'm only joking. All good. All good, boys.
How did our punts get on?
I can never remember my punts. It's like a mental block comes in. Whoever it was, they didn't do anything.
Buendia.
I always say thank you, Ant. Buendia, yeah.
Well, Phil, I know this. We went a bit of double Burnley here, didn't we, on the old punts?
Double Burnley, the wood chopper. That's who I went for.
Lovely. Oh, yeah, he scored, but so did mine, old Maxwell Cornet, who continues to impress for Burnley. So Cornet got 7 points. How many did the wood chopper get?
Wood got 6. And yeah, it's frustrating because
little silver lining on my very dark cloud, boys. Look at that.
There we go. It's nice to see a smile.
The thing that really annoyed me is that as the game ended, I checked the bonus points, and Wood had 2 bonus points and Cornet had 1. So they were both on 8 points. And so I just took that as how it would have ended up. But obviously something changed. And I feel like I've been a bit done over here because I was all smug that Mike was just guaranteed as captain being picked. And maybe we could have had another game of player or cheese to determine just for fun. But as it is now, and you've got to prepare a quiz so me and Mike find out who gets our captain picked.
Oh yes, indeed, boys. Yeah. So yeah, our winner this week, by the way, on Twitter. Apologies if I've pronounced this wrong. Is at Sampon Voita, who had a great shot of Benteke, who got 12 points and 2 goals in that same Burnley game.
Well done, Sampon.
So you will be picking either Mike or Phil's captain here. So as we know, boys, Ole Gunnar was finally put out of his misery this week at Man United. Mike predicted they would lose to Watford. They did. It was pretty horrendous. He got the sack. And arguably his most famous moment at Manchester United back in 1999.
Not this
in the
again.
Champions League.
Yeah, I love this stuff. All right, cool.
What I want to know, boys, is how many members of the 18-man Manchester United squad from that night back in 99 can you name? Phil, I feel as your punt did score, it's only fair you get to go first.
Well, I don't know.
Come on. I mean, you were about 24 at the time.
I remember, and it's one of the only times I remember Dad getting remotely excitable. I remember sitting and watching the game with Dad because he was a Man United fan, a Bournemouth fan, but he had a soft spot for United. And when that second goal went in, he was jumping up and down like a maniac, like dancing around the lounge. So I remember that. So I can tell you 3 players initially. I'm going to go for 3.
Oh, he's playing very, very safe, I feel.
4.
Disappointing.
Oh, look, sorry, 9.
Oh!
Mike's going to immediately go for half the squad. I mean, That's a hefty jump.
That's fine.
Okay, Phil.
You do 9, you'll impress me.
All right.
Yeah, to be fair, this will be super impressive.
All right. So look,
Off
the
you
first
go.
thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say that there might be a curveball because Roy Keane, you might think, was involved, but he was actually suspended after 2 bookings, and
Correct.
so didn't play the final. So I'm not going to mention Roy Keane. Let's go with the 4 strikers first of all that played that night: York, Cole, Solskjaer, and Sheringham. There's
Correct.
4 for you straight away.
Yeah,
Schmeichel would have played in goal.
that is spot on.
Now, was Paul Scholes suspended as well as Keane? I'll come back to him. Looking at the back line, Ronnie Johnson was definitely involved,
Yes, he was.
as was David May.
Yes, he was. He was on the bench.
Gary Neville.
Yeah, so I think, Mike, you've ploughed through this. I think you are just 1 away.
No, he's at least 2 away.
I thought he's named 8.
1, 2, 3, 4. I've made some notes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. I think I've only made 7 actually.
Okay.
So you can have Gary Neville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was your 7th. Yeah.
Oh no, Gary Neville was my 8th then. And I'll
that's
go
the
for
same,
I'll
yeah.
go for Nicky Butt for 9.
And you would be bang on.
Yeah, there we go. I'll throw a few more at you. I think Paul Scholes did play.
No,
He didn't
didn't.
play,
He was
didn't
the other
He was
suspended.
booked as well. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't go there.
Dodged the bullet.
Phil Neville.
Phil Neville was on the bench, yeah.
Can I
no,
go
the goal-
Dennis Irwin?
Dennis Irwin, yeah.
Reserve goalkeeper would have been Van der Gaal or Carroll. I'll go Carroll.
Van der Gaal.
That was Van der Gaal. There you go. We're missing some wingers there, aren't we? We're missing some wingers.
I mean,
Giggs?
probably the most famous
Beckham.
name here, boys. Beckham, of
Beckham and
course.
Giggs.
Beckham and Giggs, yeah. Jesper Blomqvist started.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
Sam.
I said, didn't I
course.
not say Stam?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I had him
Oh.
on my list here.
Old Yip Yap. The only other players you missed, I think you've got everyone. I
I
think
don't think
there's
you can
2.
call them. I don't think you can call them that anymore.
What?
Don't.
No.
Just carry on, everyone.
Okay. Was Wes
That's not
Brown
appropriate.
and Jonathan Greening.
Well, there you go. Oosh. Enjoy having your captain pick, Phil.
I will by who was it, Ant?
Sampon.
Sampon Vuita.
In them we trust. So
Indeed, we've been. I would suggest this season our captain picks have been fairly kind. So I feel like you'll be all right with this one, Phil.
okay, cool.
And if
So
not, I mean, let's just point out Phil's had a really good week. So let's just bring him down a peg or 2.
I've heard Sampon's got quite a vindictive streak. So let's see what happens.
We
Amazing.
will, boys. This week we've got a lot of listener questions, so might treat it as like a bit of a Q&A to look at where things are. But Anthony, I want to know what transfers you've done to your team.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I've taken out Mope. I mean, that was a slam dunk, really.
That's the end of an era.
Is he? He's not. Yeah, so well that went. I think across the 6 weeks I had him, I think he scored about 3 points. So that was good. I bought him Benteke, boys. I said it a few weeks ago, didn't I? I highlighted him, didn't follow up. He got 12 points at the weekend. He's actually been picked out by the FPL Scout online as well, an article trying to convince us all to get Benteke in my team. Well, I'd already been convinced he's in. He couldn't do much worse than the Mope, I'll say that. And he's got Aston Villa at home this weekend. Jimenez is the other one. So Antonio has finally gone. Again, he's not been in the points for West Ham, has he? West Ham having a strong season. I know it's a big pull.
1 goal a week, Jimenez.
Yeah, but now I'm at this stage where I have nothing to lose, and it can't get much worse. Well, it could get worse, but it couldn't get much worse, could it? So I feel like I've got to go for it now, boys. Jimenez away at Norwich at the weekend. He got 8 points last week. And Reguilon of Spurs, of course, scored at the weekend. He got 9 points, and I brought him into my defence for Christensen, who, when he does play for Chelsea, does tend to get some points, but he is in and out of that team and isn't reliable whatsoever. So playing a 3-4-3 at the moment. Reguilon, TAA, and Pinnock at the back, and then Salah, Havertz, Smith Rowe, Foden in the middle. Although not enjoying seeing the 2 triangles in the yellow triangles there this morning, boys. And then Benteke, Jimenez, and Vardy up front. Vardy staying in for 1 more week purely off the fact that they've got Watford at home.
Sounds terrible. I'll be honest.
Wow.
Sounds terrible, mate.
Yeah, that's an awful team.
I mean, it's a really bad team.
That's terrible. That is the worst. The balance is all over the place, and in truth, I'm expected to hear you being miserable next week.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, boys. I knew that I could rely on you to make me feel so much better. Well, let me just find a window to throw myself out of.
I've made a couple of changes while we're talking changes. I've taken out Livramento and Bowen, and I've swapped in Højbjerg. That's all right. He's a make weight. He's going to go on the bench, and Marcus Alonso, because I think now
sounds dreadful. Oh, the
Chilwell
balance
out for a
is
long
wrong.
time. Well, listen to this team then if you want to. We've got listen to this back four: Alonso, James, Trent, and Cancelo. Oh,
Yeah.
that is
a lot of money in a back
licking
four.
stuff. Midfield of Rafinha, Jota, Salah, Gallagher. Solid performance so far this season. Up front, Kane and Wilson with Hwang on the bench.
Yeah, lovely old job.
The Callum
Tasty.
Wilson who didn't have any involvement in the 3 of Newcastle's goals at the weekend.
Well, yes, much to my frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than my team, but that's not difficult.
Right, gents. There's more people than just you two who have got dilemmas with their team. So
All
let's
right.
get to listener questions.
Let's do
So Rajvit asks, he's got one City and one Chelsea defender currently. So he is saying City or Chelsea defender for a double up after the Chilwell injury. So he's, I assume, getting rid of Chilwell. So who's he bring in? Another City defender or another Chelsea defender?
Definitely another Chelsea. You bring in Alonso. The reason behind my thinking is that there is no backup left back beyond Alonso at Chelsea. So you bring a City defender in, you don't know who Pep's going to start, do you? So it's got to. Alonso looks just by far and away the most obvious pick there, and he was giving great returns prior to Chilwell taking his place.
Average of 6.5 points a game he was getting. That's the only thing I've looked up this week.
There you go, brilliant.
So we can end it now if you want. Okay, yeah, I would happen to agree. I would go. I've got 3 Chelsea defenders. Obviously, I've got the Chilwell injury now, so my plan was to go Livramento to Cancelo, just because I haven't had a City player all season, and I'm fed up with everyone else getting his points and not me, and then having an incredible back 5 because I've got £3.5 million in the bank. But I think I'll just have to swap out Chilwell for. Okay, in that situation, because I've already got 2 Chelsea defenders, do I go Chilwell to Cancelo or Chilwell to Alonso?
I'd go Chilwell to Alonso personally.
Anthony, whose
I would
advice
argue
went value?
Cancelo, actually. I mean, Mike said it. Cancelo is always in the points, isn't he? He's the mainstay in that defence. Probably the one you can rely on for City.
Oh yeah, I mean,
he's always getting an assist or 2.
He started every single game for City this season. I think he's the only outfield player to do that this season.
Yeah.
But I don't really want Phil having Cancelo as well because I've got him. At the moment, I'm the only one of the 3 of us that's got him. So my advice was slightly biased.
Just on Cancelo, he scored 30 more points than any other City player this season.
That's staggering.
Stat.
That is quite crazy.
Have you ever had him in your team this season, Ant?
Have a guess. He's got points, so the answer to that will be no.
He has had Ethan Pinnock though.
And he got you points. Oh no, he was
did.
on your bench.
Yeah, the 1 week he did score against Liverpool. He was on my bench. So thanks, boys.
I'm going to miss Christensen not being in your team because I like letting you know that he's got a clean sheet.
I'll tell you what's going to happen now on Saturday is I'm going to turn off WhatsApp.
Oh no,
Anthony!
I'm only joking. It's fine. Bring it on, boys. You love to kick me while I'm down, so carry on.
Yes, we do.
Oh mate, I could have a bad week this week. It's just the luck of the world.
Boys. It's just a game.
Just a game. Next question from Lewis Pearson. Which footballer would each of the hosts' footballing style be compared to? He then attached 3 gifs of Serge Aurier, Harry Winks, and Pavlyuchenko, and I don't know what they mean. But what footballer do you compare yourself to, Mike?
I would say Darren Bent under Harry Redknapp. If we're trying to make it like a Spurs, because those are all 3 Spurs players.
Right, yeah.
But are we looking to split across the 3? Like, are we looking to pick one of those each? Or are we going to divvy those 3 players out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just pick your own.
Okay, yeah, Darren Bent.
Anthony?
I'd go Titus Bramble. Ever strewn and awful.
It's so miserable.
Well, I couldn't exactly say Harry Kane, could I?
You're quite a good player.
Yeah, you like a. Yeah,
I would say more Paul Catamol.
You mean Lee Catamol?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Paul Catamol was from S Club 7.
Oh, he actually was.
Yeah.
You've always got them on your mind. I'm
always getting those 2 confused.
Oh dear,
very confusing.
I'll take that. I'm possibly
Paul
not
Catamol or Lee Catamol?
Well, either, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's go for Lee.
Let me say that Paul Catamol contributed very little to S Club 7. I don't know what he did there.
Well, Well, he ruined it, didn't he? He ruined it all. I'm still quite bitter about it. I had a meeting. A meeting with Paul Catamol once, and it took everything in me not to say, "Why the heck did you leave?" Because it was all downhill from there. Not because he contributed a great deal, but because they were called S Club 7. Then there were 6 of them. It was inevitable. It would come to a messy end.
Oh dear. You okay
Never mind.
there?
Yeah, I am.
You're
I'm fine. But the Pussycat Dolls, they were covered. Do you know what I mean? If one of the girls wanted to leave Pussycat Dolls, it's fine. They're still the Pussycat Dolls.
I think they did at the start, didn't they? There was a bit of rotation.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen
You know, the Sugar Babes. Fine. You had about 25 different members of the Sugar Babes. Didn't matter. The act
Change
rolled
every
on.
week.
But you can't be called S Club 7 and have 6 of you.
The Drifters. I mean,
The
for
Drifters.
people a bit older.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen
neat.
the Pussycat Dolls live.
How was that for you?
I saw that, and they were supported by Rihanna.
Wow.
Tells you how long ago it was. Yeah.
You are old.
Really old. My wife. I mean, I bought my wife tickets, and therefore I went. Rather
I've
than
seen
Sounds
Paul
like-
Catamol live on a number of occasions.
Sounds like you wanted the tickets, Phil, but you claimed they were for her.
yeah,
got
something
to
like that.
Clever.
I really wanted to drive to Manchester to.
Phil, did
to
you-
see them.
Did you tell us what player you'd be?
I was just going to say, this is we've gone off piste here.
It'll be
Yeah,
someone
so-
Italian. It'll be someone Italian. Wait for it.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
It's probably Pirlo. I
Yeah,
guess.
I knew you.
Oh,
I
yeah,
absolutely
there
knew you were going to say
There we
Pirlo.
go.
Nah. I
Well,
mean,
it's not Zlatan, to be honest.
well, it was going to be Zlatan, but Zlatan is up top too often, whereas Pirlo can just wander and appear on the edge of the box, and that's more my style of play. And obviously the rugged good looks.
Awkward
Yeah.
silence. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, Phil.
Next question. Okay. FPL Neighbours asks, why do vegans feed their animals meat? And let me tell you, because we were meant to record yesterday, but due to the internet here having all sorts of issues, we didn't. We asked these questions yesterday. Since he asked this question, chaos has ensued on Twitter with a lot of vegan-based arguments. So, yeah, why do vegans feed their animals meat?
Do they?
Mike, you're pretty much a vegan.
Yeah, pretty much vegan. I don't feed my animals meat.
What animals do you have?
Well, I don't have any.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is the man who doesn't like
Hey.
animals.
You've got a fish.
I'll bring that up now, Phil. Sadly, he passed away a year ago.
Oh, that's awkward.
Gosh.
I mean, to be honest, that shows how interesting fish are as
Yeah.
pets.
Well,
Yes,
yeah. That's I don't really care for animals, but I don't want to kill them to eat them.
No, but a vegan, I suppose, it doesn't really matter. But it's a vegan's belief. I mean, they can't push their beliefs onto a dog and say you shouldn't eat meat.
It's a good point.
For
Wise
example.
words.
Wise
Wise words.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take that. It's rare that I get a compliment from you. Thank you.
I think you've got to leave the dog to make its own decision as to whether it wants to be vegan or not. That would be my take. If it eats the dog foods, put the dog food out and leave the flowers in the garden. If he wants to go and eat the flowers in the garden, he will. If he wants to eat the dog food, he will.
More than likely,
That's
just going to urinate on one of those.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
going to be the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next
Glad we
question.
covered that one.
Yes. Thomas asks, is it worth a -4 to get James or another Chelsea defender in against Man United?
Well, I think it's not just about against Man United, is it? I mean, or are they thinking about holding and waiting?
Well, they could do it for sorry, I'm getting my THs and my Fs the wrong way around. He can do it for free next week, but if he does it now, he'll get the price that he's at now.
Yeah, I would. I think they're rising all the time. I would get them in. I think United at home that they'll have attacking gains. That's where a lot of their points have come from. These defenders.
Yeah.
Rudiger came good for you. James has come good for me. Chilwell's also come good for you. And actually, if you look at the games long term, after this week they play Watford, West Ham, Leeds, Everton, Wolves, and Villa, Chelsea. So yeah, all aboard.
I think what this season has taught me is that if you want someone, go and get them. And pay a -4 to get them in, and it's just a nicer feeling at the weekend, because by the weekend you've forgotten all about the -4. You're just seeing how many points you're getting,
or -20. Yes,
or that. He also follows it up to ask who is the best Schitt's Creek character. Now, you two, I don't believe watch Schitt's Creek.
Correct.
Nope.
So for me, probably Stevie, Moira, or David, which is vague.
Okay. No idea who any of these people are.
You really
well,
should.
And maybe why don't we make a television recommendation in the absence of Schitt's Creek? I'd like to recommend Ride Along With a new series. It's lovely. If you like Gone Fishing with Mortimer and Whitehouse,
Goodness, you couldn't sound more Partridge if you tried.
I did.
I'd like to recommend it. It's right along with the comedian David O'Doherty, who I'm a big fan of. And it's a very gentle watch. But he takes a comedian out with him for a long ride. They do an overnight stay. They do some cooking. It's a lovely, lovely watch. The first episode came out. It's on at All 4 now, with Richard Ayoade. Yeah, just lovely. Very much in the vibe of the Gone Fishing with Mortimer and Whitehouse.
Right. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Mike. And TV recommendations. Somehow we've got onto this.
Well, Netflix are doing a good series at the moment, boys, called Bad Sport. I don't know if you've seen any of them. They're about some of the controversial stories that we've had across sport, including, for example, the Hansi Cronje one, the South African cricket captain who was taking bribes. There's one about an American racing driver who was funding his racing career by selling drugs. And there's some other ones in there. They're really, really good. They're about an hour long, and there's about 6 on there. I've got through about half of them so far. They are a very good watch.
Who is sport's ultimate bad boy?
Probably me.
What?
Failing that. It's a good question. I mean, mainly because there's so many people who have since gone on to be sportsmen, also with his name, Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
It's a good shout.
Yeah. Okay. I would go for the cyclist guy. Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah,
it's a really good one. That. Okay. Well,
Catamel?
Yeah. Paul Catamel could be anyone.
Well,
okay.
He's Pop's bad boy.
Next. Is he? Is he?
I don't know if you saw. Yeah, he went and joined a heavy metal band afterwards, mate, and he got caught smoking marijuana.
Wow. I mean, I would suggest that more people in the music industry have done worse things than that.
Oh, not in the privileged position he found himself in as the influencer of number of 8-year-olds and myself as a late teen.
Late teen, generous.
Early 20s.
33. Right.
Okay. Neil Murphy asks, is it time to start captaining defenders?
Yeah.
Anthony? Mike.
Well, I say yes.
I mean, if you've got Cancelo or James, absolutely. But the worry, isn't it, with a defender is as soon as there's a goal conceded, there's a few points gone down the pan already. But it's kind of heading that way, isn't it? If you look at the points, as I just pointed out with Cancelo, he scored 30 more points than any other City player. And the second highest City player is Diaz. So similar with Chelsea, James, Mendy, Rudiger, Chilwell, their top 4 point scorers this season. So if you've got one of the big names, absolutely TAA as well for Liverpool. Look at the amount of points he's getting.
The reality is, you go defender, but probably just captain Salah.
Yeah, it's just a bit dull, isn't it?
I know.
But last week I captained Salah because I saw that a listener had chosen for Ant to have Salah as his captain, and so I needed to cover him off. But this week, little did you know you didn't really need to cover him off. Didn't even need Salah, to be honest, with Ant's team. Yeah. Something I would say about Diaz is that last season he was an ever-present, wasn't he? He was the safe bet for City's defence. He has only started 3 out of the last 5 Premier League games.
That's a good stat.
So,
are you sure about that?
Well, yeah, I'm as sure as I can be staring at a screen that's telling me that information.
Okay, I'm seeing that he's only missed the last game, but that's fine. I'll take your word for it.
I said started, Anthony. He came on as a sub against Burnley, but, by all means, argue with me.
Okay, no, it's fine.
If you want to unpack this after the show, that'd be great.
Yeah, we can do if you want. In answer to your question, Neil, I think it is a good time to start captaining defenders. Look at the size of their point hauls that they're getting. Rudiger got me, 14 points or something ridiculous this week? Pretty good. Joe Parsons asks, Jota or Bernardo Silva, who has gone under the radar?
He has gone under the radar. He was by far and away man of the match again last night in the Champions League. But Jota, I'm going to call him Jota, was on the bench last night for Liverpool, so will be rested and ready to come in this weekend. There was doubt about whether he'd be available. Presumably, if he's made the bench, he's going to be fit to play on Saturday. So I would go him over Silva, who I just don't trust Pep. But Bernardo has been their best player this season,
which is weird
alongside Cancelo. He's been their best player.
It looked like he was going to go last season.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't getting enough game time.
I understand. Well, yeah. I mean, there were reports, pretty widespread that they were looking to move him on, but nobody came in with an appropriate bid. So, with Grealish coming in.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's done really well.
With Jota, I mean, that Liverpool-Arsenal game, the collision between him and Ramsdale looked nasty. I don't know if you both saw it, but Ramsdale conceded, what was it, 4 goals in the end? And he was still far and away man of the match for me. He made a load of saves. First half particularly, he made a load of saves, and he was really enjoying it. Did you see he was smirking at Trent when he tipped a shot over?
He's a great character. He's a great character. He's a good lad.
Yeah.
Just going back to Jota, is the only concern with him? I know he can quite often start, but very rarely finishes the game. He's only done 90 minutes twice this season. Would that be a point of concern?
I think that's less likely now, given Firmino's injury. I think a lot of those subs he was coming off for Firmino or vice versa. I don't know who vice versa where he hails from, but
it's Nestle.
Yes, indeed. I don't think. I think with Firmino injured, I think he'll play more 90 minutes. I think there's room in your team for most people's teams for both of them, and I'd explore it because Bernardo actually has a bench option. He's 7.2, is he?
Yeah, it's not much.
I think he's 7.2.
I
think he's 7.2. So I'd be looking at maybe trying to squeeze both in.
But
a choice between the two, I go Jota.
Yeah, I'm not sure when Firmino's. Sorry, Ant, go on.
No, just saying Bernardo is 7.2.
Okay. I'm not sure Firmino's injury is going to be that long lasting. I think he could be coming back soon.
It says unknown at the moment. I've just checked that out. Unknown, which is not really a good thing.
But I know. I can tell. Yeah, I can just tell. Okay. Just got it. I can feel it in my bones.
That's sixth sense.
Yeah, although I can feel barely anything in my bones because I had some Alpen just before we came out. And to be honest, I may as well have poured a bottle of Mr. Muscle plug-on blocker down me. It literally out.
Gosh.
Just like that.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right.
Hideous.
Lovely. And for that reason, we should mention there will be no hot crisp challenge. I showed Phil was full of bravado this time yesterday. Just give me the hot crisp, lads. I'll do this. I'll take one for the team.
Hang on. I do have a medical condition. My IBS is a medical condition.
Yeah, of course. But
we've all got IBS,
you knew that when you were sending these. You knew that when you were sending these messages to us yesterday.
Yeah, I was fairly confident. And then you showed me that video.
And then I showed him a video of somebody trying to eat one, and he's very quickly changed his mind. So there will be. I'm afraid all three of us, to quote Antidek, have been ruled out of this task on safety grounds.
I did have a McCoy's Peri Peri crisp this morning. In fact, a whole pack, just to counteract the anger that we may get thrown in from listeners.
Oh, but that's very decent. What a morning it's been. Alpen and Peri Peri crisps.
And a quick
and a diner rod.
Yeah. Okay. Mickey Race asks, has Mike taken Chilwell out of his team yet?
Oh, Mike didn't have Chilwell, but I have brought Alonso in. So I mean, I would have done if I'd got Chilwell. Definitely.
Will he make it to the weekend? Interestingly, we were all wrong on when Mickey Race's baby would be born last week.
Oh, yeah.
It was Thursday. So welcome to the world, Moira.
Welcome, Moira. Named presumably after the character from Schitt's Creek you were talking about.
Correct. I expect so. I hope so. You'd really hope so. Right. Craig Coof asks, if you could watch two teams play on a holiday, which two teams would you match up and which holiday? He's saying that he's in America. The NFL always plays 3 games on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
so
that's a shame. I was thinking like the Seychelles. Okay. I'd make them play on the Bahamas or something.
Well, you can take his question as you wish. So
I'm going to take them to Butlins.
You've got the option of anywhere in the world, and you've gone Bognor Regis.
Well, yeah, because if it's at Butlins, I can have a go on like the fairground. I can watch a show with the Skyline Gang or whatever on the big stage, and then as a warm up, and then off I go and watch the game.
What is the game?
The game is Chelsea against Southampton, because I quite dislike Southampton. I like to see them get beat.
Okay. Anthony?
That's amazing. I would go for the Maldives, boys. Have either of you been?
All right. All right,
Have
show off.
either of us been? No,
you-
no,
I
we
mean, you-
haven't. I've just told you I go to a holiday in Butlins.
I would point out I did go there on my honeymoon.
And also, you've known us for all our adult lives, so you know we've not. So
I think I was just rubbing it in that because I know you haven't. Well, it is an amazing part of the
He
world.
might be rubbish at Fantasy Premier League, but by golly, he's had some holidays.
Yeah. I would be on the Maldives, on a beach, with a projector probably, and it would probably, judging by last weekend, be Burnley against Crystal Palace. What a game that was! I'm joking, obviously. It would be Man United against Liverpool.
Oh, see, I thought I was having the actual teams playing at Butlins. You're just letting them play at the stadium, but you're going to watch it on a projector.
Which you won't-
Absolutely, boys.
You
You
better
won't be able
see.
to
Surely
see.
that's too light in the Maldives,
Claire,
isn't it?
Claire.
No, you'd be fine. You just put sunglasses on.
You know-
No, for the screen, you donut, not
oh my
you.
good grief!
It'll
The
be
projector
fine.
doesn't work in the Maldives.
Oh, okay then. All right. Well,
And
still,
of all the games to watch, like any game in the world, any team, you want to watch a Burnley Crystal Palace match.
I was joking, boys.
It didn't sound like a joke. Didn't
It's
sound like a
fine.
joke.
It's
Can you
fine.
not, can you not tell the sarcasm of it? You're so used to me being sarcastic now. You can't tell the difference. I then
Alright.
did change it to Man United against Liverpool.
No,
Okay.
you can't. You can't. Once you said it, mate. You've
Okay,
Ah,
Palace
you've
Burnley.
made your bed. You lie in it, and it's all right to have your own dreams. It's all right.
Yeah. Don't let us squash them. Phil,
I
what
Actually,
about
see
you?
Chris Wood.
Oh yeah, I do like a bit of Chris Wood actually. On a holiday, I would like to have a well, what holiday would it be? Maybe New Year's Day. New Year's Day on the bank holiday, because New Year's Day is a bit of a nothing day, isn't it? So if you've got something to look forward to, and then I would like to see, yeah, probably I'd like to watch my team play. So I'd like to watch Bournemouth, maybe against Barcelona from about 10 years ago.
We'd get absolutely pummeled. But okay, cool.
But it'd be fun.
I'll tell you what. Actually, if we're talking holiday like in the American sense, I'd like to watch Bournemouth against QPR on Boxing Day,
So
because Ruddy Sky have moved it, and I had worked my whole. I'd worked my. Oh, I'm absolutely raging. I keep turning my mic on and off by mistake. Sorry, I booked my whole Christmas
I thought
around
you were
that
swearing.
fixture, and they have moved it. They've moved it to the 27th on the day when we're actually having our family Christmas. I'm so
So
close.
instead of seeing Bournemouth QPR, you'll be seeing me. What a treat!
What could you want?
Will be lovely.
I mean, I don't mean to rub it in, but they've moved all of our festive games. So we've not even got one on New Year's Day.
Oh, cook a cat.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
an
amazing.
interesting turn of phrase. Any more questions, Phil?
Cheers,
Because we
Sky.
need to do a quick round by
Yeah,
round
we have. Last
look
question.
at the fixtures. Yeah.
FPL Buddy asks, is going big at the back or going budget midfielders with Salah? Well, he said, going big at the back or going budget midfielders with Salah, which has surprised you most this season? Because it has been a weird one, hasn't it? Strikers are a bit pointless, and you only really need Salah in midfield.
I think the big at the back thing has surprised me a bit, because I think in recent years budget midfielders have always emerged. They've always emerged. You know, I mean, I think back to a couple of years ago, Ryan Fraser was the one that lots of people got on, and every season that there seems to be a clutch of players. Whereas I think people start with good intentions and have a fairly well balanced team, including some high premium defenders that tend to go off the boil. They haven't gone off the boil. These players just have been so consistent at the back in a way that I don't recall seeing in previous seasons. So yeah, I think the defensive thing has definitely surprised me most.
Okay. Yeah, I think the lack of options in midfield has surprised me. There is only Salah, and who's really doing much on a regular basis. But that's just my opinion, FPL Buddy.
Hey.
And as we know, my opinion counts for very little these days. So it still counts for more than Ant's opinion.
Oh dear. Oh, it's a right pile in on poor Anthony.
It's fine. I'm going to go and have a nice packet of milk chews when this is done, boys. That'll cheer me right up.
Then I'll fly to the Maldives. Have you been?
Funnily enough, yeah.
Yeah.
That was once in a lifetime, boys. But there you go.
Yeah, I've been to where we don't to know where.
Well, hold on. You had your honeymoon in the Dominican Republic, or even
Yeah, Phil.
even the Dominican. I had my
Oh.
honeymoon at Westmore's Valley Country Park, 5 minutes from where I live.
Yeah, I mean it's literally I could walk there in about 5 minutes from my work. Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Uh,
Oh wow. Right, should we look at the fixtures, boys?
let's look at the fixtures and see if Mike can be heard. Mike, are you ready for the fixtures?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Oh, so ready. Okay, stop holding your microphone because it keeps disconnecting. Okay, do you want to go through them then, Ant, and see what we got?
Yeah. Lunchtime kickoff, boys, at the Emirates. Arsenal against Newcastle. So I think Newcastle will still be missing their manager for this, won't they? Eddie will still be in his isolation period. So poor old Newcastle have got Jason Tyndall on the sidelines. And I would suggest looking at their first game of the weekend. They need to sharpen up defensively. So I would expect Arsenal to win this one.
Yeah,
Thoughts on assets here, boys? I've got Smith Rowe.
Oh, you've got Smith Rowe still. That's a shame. Yeah, I think he's a good choice this week.
Yeah, just
Saka.
Just for this week. Pardon?
Saka for me.
Yeah, I think Gabriel is a good option here. Don't, Mike.
I'm resisting.
Okay,
but dreams can come true. Sorry, what?
Okay, lovely. Switching now to the 3 o'clock kickoff, boys. Crystal Palace Villa. Obviously, Stevie G won his first game, didn't he, as Villa boss with those late goals? But
they weren't very convincing, were they?
No, they weren't.
Villa weren't very convincing. And Palace went away to Turf Moor and came back for a point and played some good football. I'd back Palace in this. I've got Conor Gallagher.
You got Conor Gallagher?
I've got a Conor Gallagher. By golly, it's going down well.
Better than a hot crisp.
Yeah, I mean, I bought him in by mistake a couple of weeks ago. He's done all right. I'd look at him.
Christian Benteke.
I don't think that's a bad idea, Ant. And I know that I'm mocking you, but I'm only mocking you as a joke.
It's against his former club.
It is. He is. I mean, again with Benteke. I mean, he scored 2, didn't he? But he could have had 4 or 5. He missed a couple of sitters as well. So he is like that, Benteke, isn't he? You probably wouldn't trust him through on goal, but he does. He is in the points at the moment. And as I say, I need to look for these differentials now because I'm doing so badly. I might as well go for some.
You are.
I am doing really badly.
Yeah.
As I say, I've got to go for some differentials here, and hopefully he'll be the one.
Yeah, I think it's a really good choice, and a lot of people went on Edouard because he started doing well. But Benteke has been solid. Maybe it's the pressure of having Edouard there that's improved Benteke.
Indeed, let's hope so. Anfield next, boys. Liverpool, Southampton. With that kind of fixture, you think everyone's going to lump on Salah? I would expect it.
Yeah, I'll be captaining him. I did note that Shimikas came back in at the weekend.
Oh, I don't have the soundboard here.
It's okay, but I did notice he came back in place of Robertson. I don't know whether Robertson is going to return this weekend, but if not, then maybe if you're shuffling around your pack in defence, then he at 3.9 is worth a look. There it is.
And Jota's the other one, isn't it, boys? We've been flagged him up in this week's podcast. He is possibly the other player. Any Southampton assets here?
I don't think you bring in a player when they're playing against Liverpool. I've got Livramento, but he is. I think I'm going to cash in on him because the excitement's died down a bit with Southampton. Don't you think?
A little bit.
They'll just make their way now steadily to survival, but I don't particularly think that I want many of their assets. And I've got him because he was cheap at the start of the season.
Yep, go with that.
I would agree, but I would just give it a mention. Doff my cap to Adam Armstrong, who's got a 5, a 9, and a 5 in his last 3 games.
Yeah, he's working 5, 9 to 5. So very good indeed.
Sort of works.
Smooth.
It was okay. Okay, Anthony, next one.
Norwich Wolves. Norwich won their first game under Dean Smith at the weekend. Beating Southampton. What do we think here, boys? Pookie back in the points. Is he one as a cheaper striker, as a third option?
Oh, if any of us are getting on Pookie, it'll be Mike. So let's go to Mike, our Pookie correspondent.
Hi there, guys. Yeah, no, I'm not convinced by him this season at all. He doesn't look sharp. He's getting on as well. So no, if you're looking for a striker in this game, I'd be looking at Hwang. Still at only 5.8. 40 points so far this season, and is the most selected Wolves player in the game at the moment.
Okay.
Any others? Obviously, Raul Jimenez. I brought him in. Any others, Phil?
Let me have a think about that.
I think it's worth noting that Gilmore came back into the side and was pretty instrumental in the game. He's probably going to be more an assist to an assist, but as somebody that you know is going to start, Gilmore at 4.4 million is an enabler. I also like Norman at 4.5, and I'm interested to see that Cantwell was brought back in for his first start in a long time. Maybe 5.3 when you're comparing him to the other two. That looks an inflated price, but it's still, if you're looking for somebody in that price bracket, sub 5.5, then there are 3 players there that you might want to consider.
Semedo has to do something one day, so Semedo is my punt in that game.
Okay.
So last game on Saturday then, boys. Brighton against Leeds, 5:30 kickoff. Brighton, who had a flyer to start with, now having a sticky patch, haven't won in their last 5. I mean, things have got so bad for them that they're actually level on points with Manchester United now. Wow. But they are playing a Leeds team sitting just 2 points above the relegation zone. And yeah, this is 2 teams out of form. One player potentially here for Leeds, Daniel James. I thought he was really good in the game against Spurs. I know they ended up losing, but he was really, really lively for them, especially in the first half.
Yeah, good to see him finding a bit of form now. I'd probably sit tight on him just for a little bit longer. Although the next 3 are tempting. Brighton, Palace, Brentford does make you wish that Paddy B was around, Phil?
Oh, there's still no news on his injury. It's driving me nuts. I need him in my team. I've got the money to put him in my team, and I know I can't hold that money forever just in hope that he comes back. So yeah, it's incredibly frustrating from my point of view. Harrison actually, he hasn't done anything this season, but he got an assist finally in that game against Spurs. So maybe Harrison. If you want someone completely different, owned by 1% of all teams, he's 5.6 million.
Good champ. Okay, so boys, 4 games kicking off at 2 p.m. on Sunday. First of those, Brentford Everton. Obviously, Ethan Pinnock here is going to get a hat-trick, as we know, for Brentford. Should be an easy win for them, shouldn't it?
Well, Everton look terrible, so anything's
they look
possible.
really bad.
We predicted it, didn't we? We said Benitez, as soon as he goes bad, like as soon as a couple of results happen, the Everton fans are going to turn on him. I listened to a phone in on at the weekend, and they were all having a go at Benitez. He's not the answer. It's terrible football, and I don't think he'll be there long.
If you're talking about, if I just going to say, if you're talking about 2 out of form teams in their last 5, Everton 4 defeats and a draw, and Brentford have also got the same record. So not great reading. So 2 out of form teams in terms of assets, boys. And anything from these?
It's got to be this guy. Tony, yes.
Wow.
Tony.
Yeah, still got that sound clip. I really like Rico Henry, boys. He's done very well for me the last few weeks. 4.5 mil, 1.5% ownership. I'd look at him. I'd look at him as an option. Into midfield, I'd maybe look at Canos. Spoiler alert, he's my punt. He scored last week, scored the opening game of the season as well against Arsenal. And he's starting every week. What does he cost you? 5.5. I mean, he's a similar price to the likes of Mbemo and Norgard and a few others in there in midfield. But yeah, I think Brentford could pull a shock here.
And Mbemo has hit the post more times than any other player. Keeps on smacking the post, which is okay for me because I don't have him. But I know a lot of people do, and that is infuriating. It is time to get off Everton assets, isn't it? If you've got Gray, Townsend, the classic Gray, Townsend, Decore has fallen apart since Decore got injured.
This is true. So Turf Moor then next, boys. Burnley against Spurs.
The theatre of dreams.
Indeed. Wow. There's actually seen some goals recently. Burnley still in the bottom 3, but finally got a win and then that 3-3 draw at the weekend. Spurs, I thought, were actually awful first half against Leeds. No different, really. And then a bit of a game of 2 halves. What do we think here, boys? It feels like a game to me that is going to be tight. I can't see the goals that we've had recently. But as a potential differential, because they still look a little bit dodgy at the backs. Again, Cornet, my punt last week, he continues to be in the points, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Go on, Phil. No, you go, mate.
No, after you, I insist.
But I just worry that Turf Moor is a tough place to go, and presumably they're playing this on the Thursday because Spurs are playing tonight.
They're playing
That's
on
playing this on a Sunday because Spurs are playing on the Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So yeah, and he'll be putting his full team out for that. So I just wonder. Yeah, I'm a bit wary of this one. I don't know. I don't know how this one plays out. You'd like to think that Spurs would go there and impose themselves, but they haven't done a lot of that this season.
I think that's going to be a big confidence booster for them, isn't it? That they turned that game around. I think had they lost the lead, it could have been different. But now they've got that big win. It could be a boost for them.
Yeah,
Maybe Kane might start getting the points. Who knows?
They're away in Moldova tonight. And I actually was.
I thought they were going to be away in the Maldives.
That's just for me, mate.
With their projectors, I
setting them up on the beach.
Yeah, squinting
because I can't see anything.
I was actually at the return leg of this at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a month or so ago. Enes Mura, they're over to Moldova tonight for that game, and he started pretty much his reserve team in the first game. This was Nuno, of course, in charge then, and it needed them to make a triple change of Mura, Son, and Kane for them to get anything out of the game. So. You would, if I've got Tottenham assets, I'm hoping that they get rested tonight and the reserve team does enough to see them through.
Interestingly, because I was we were on our way to Bristol to see Daddy Frere on Sunday on a school night, and
crazy
it was amazing. But I listened to the Leeds game. It was Leeds Spurs, wasn't it? And the first half, the commentator was. He was saying that Spurs looked absolutely abject. Nothing's changed since Nuno. The actual starting lineup's pretty much the same, isn't it? He's not torn it up and gone again. It's just there's no creativity still in the middle.
No,
that's difficult.
Yeah,
I think when they're relying on old Højbjerg, I think that says it all.
Yeah, I'm not rushing into getting Kane until he starts doing something. I'll happily miss a few points at the start of a run. I want to see him score in the Premier League and look dangerous.
I'm just not sure where that creativity. You've got Dele, you've got Lo Celso. It's where the trade go. But outside of those two, I'm not sure who you bring in for creativity. So I think that is difficult. Boys, we've got 3 minutes to preview 3 games.
Yeah, well, there's actually 5. Yeah, so last 3 games. Yeah, Leicester, Watford, City, West Ham, and the big one at the end of it, Chelsea, Manchester United. What are we thinking here, boys? Obviously, Antonio's going to score away at the Etihad because I've taken him out.
Yeah.
Obviously, Vardy's not going to score against Watford because I've kept him in.
I think Vardy is nailed on to score against Watford.
He doesn't look the same, boys, does he? He's starting to look his age. I mean, he is in his mid-30s now, and he was always that. He always used his pace to get in behind, and he's struggling at the moment.
Yeah. Josh King will score against Leicester, who are terrible defensively.
Yeah, they really are.
So if you've got a bit of, a small amount of money for a striker, Josh King is starting every week now.
What about Manchester United? Do we see a bounce here? Straight away, we're getting rid of Volley?
Nah.
Chelsea be too strong, won't they? Chelsea in the
I mean, if you look at the game midweek, it followed suit with basically every other game they've had in Europe this season, where they were shocking for 80 minutes and then Ronaldo dug them out of a hole. I'm not convinced. I think it's a club in disarray. It's a basket case of a club at the moment. So I wouldn't be bringing any United assets in. I've not got a single United asset, and I won't be bringing one in.
Shall I tell you who I'm thinking about getting, not before this Chelsea game, but after it? Just to reminisce a bit and to remember what it was like. I'm thinking of getting Bruno Fernandes back in.
Oof.
He's created the most chances out of anyone in the Champions League.
Yeah, but that's the Champions League, not the Premier League.
What is this interim thing? Why would they write off the whole season by saying let's get an interim manager? It's only like 12 games gone. The players are just going to down tools. Surely they're going to think, okay, well, they've written the season off, so we may as well.
Yeah, agreed. Well, there it is, boys. So all that is left to look at is our punts for this week then. So as we know, we've got to try and pick an asset here with less than 2% ownership who we hope is going to score or get an assist, or potentially, if it's a defender or goalkeeper, keep a clean sheet. So Mike, you had your spoiler alert. Just remind us who you picked.
Yeah, Sergio Canos of Brentford away at Everton this weekend.
Phil, who are you going to go for?
Well, I think I'll go for someone after you've gone for someone, because quite frankly, I haven't got it sorted yet.
Okay, I'm going to go for Raheem Sterling, who was in the points in the Champions League this week. I know he's been in and out. He's got very low ownership, boys, 1.2%, I think. So I'm going to go for him this week.
Okay, I've worked out who I'm going to go for. Old Turbo Timo. He's back.
Oh, really?
Timo Werner
is back, boys.
Oh, that's a nice. Do you know what? I called this time last year Timo Werner to set his season alight against Southampton. It was the best game he had last season. I
That's
called
not
it
saying
right
much.
because
Well,
it was against a defensive. It was perfect tactically. It was set up for him to score goals. And Phil, I think you're on some absolute winner there. I'm a bit jealous.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Oh,
Well,
look at this
jealous.
little loving. Oh, hammer me all get hammer me for the last hour, but yeah.
Oh no, I'm just Well, I'm sort of praising myself and the wisdom I had last season.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
yeah.
Ultimately, I'm signposting to how great I am. But
The one thing you said correctly last season, and it's worth
Yeah.
highlighting again.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Well, gents, thank you. Sorry, it's been a bit of a rush, and sorry that the podcast is so late this week. It is 100% my fault. So I apologise. Yeah, everyone, I hope you have a good week. Hope you managed to get to listen to this before the game week started. And if not, and you're listening, and we're talking in hindsight, you've got hindsight and we haven't. We're probably wrong on a number of matters. Anthony, have a good weekend. Mike, and you.
Thank you.
Care.
Mate. Thank you,
Much
everyone.
love.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye now.